I'm David Friedman, and I'm Chief Strategic Officer of WWOZ FM in New Orleans. WWOZ is a community radio station. We're non-commercial, and our whole effort is to support the music community of New Orleans and to become its voice worldwide and to be its archive and its flag bearer.
I'm Damon Jacob, Technical Advisor for WWOZ Radio in New Orleans. New Orleans Calling is a series of about 8 shows that we put on from the Basin Street station that showcase New Orleans acts.
I'm George Ingmeyer, host and producer of New Orleans Calling, an internationally syndicated radio program of the music, food, and culture of New Orleans. So at home I use the PreSonus StudioLive mixer to put the finishing touches on New Orleans Calling. I record my voiceovers and just sweeten the program.
Hi, my name is Lou Rojas, and I'm a recording and live broadcast engineer for WWOZ Radio. We use the 32-channel console to record the shows multi-track, and we had the Sceptre speakers as well. We captured everything to capture, and we also had a 2-track going in it, so that we could broadcast it if we need to quickly. And after the show was done, we would take the multi-tracks and then we would mix them in Studio One after the fact. One of the things that I really appreciate about using it is that I can take the capture session and open it up in Studio One, and all my fat channel settings automatically get converted, so I don't have to start from scratch all over again.
The equipment that we chose to use for Basin Street consisted of the 32 AI StudioLive console and loudspeakers. I also broadcast live with WWOZ Radio from the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival. We use the StudioLive consoles as our main broadcast console. It allows me the flexibility of multi-path routing. A lot of times we are presenting multiple mixes of different stages as well as radio feeds for several different radio stations. So there's a lot of mix minuses, and with the flexibility of all the additional aux sends that the StudioLive console has, it presents me a lot of different options for radio feeds. PreSonus first came out with the mixer, and they were known for the digital console, small footprint. I call that my small footprint, big impact recording mobile gear.
I go to conferences and I go to exhibits and I see these gazillion-dollar, boards with a gazillion buttons on them. The reality is that hardly anybody can afford that stuff. Yet they need something that's going to deliver the goods. And I know from first-hand experience that PreSonus is that kind of company. Just like WWOZ, we believe in quality. We don't do, schlock. And neither does PreSonus. And so it was another good match, I think, to find each other and to work together.
At Jazz Fest, I direct the broadcast, which means I'm working between the engineers, the hosts, which are on another location, and sending it out to the actual listeners. So it's a great piece of equipment because it allows you to move between all these different things without having to go through a bunch of menus. It's very intuitive. The talkback features and everything else, it's like you can jump into it very quickly. Even if you've never used a mixer in your life, I think I can show you the basics of it in 20 minutes.
I would say that one of the reasons that we were excited to work with PreSonus is because your DNA is in the music. I mean, when I met your staff, I was so impressed with how many people either are musicians or they get musicians.
PreSonus allows you to get right to the story at hand or the music at hand as opposed to trying to figure out the equipment at hand. So it gets you right into the most important part as opposed to like some of these pieces of gear out there which have a very thick manual, and I don't think they were designed with a human being in mind, where PreSonus was.
It's a no-brainer. It's just extremely easy to use, and when you're doing shows like this, you have like one song to get your mix together. And it's just so easy because everything is in front of you as one complete surface. There's no real pages or windows that you have to go through to find where your EQ is or where your compressor is. You just select a channel and your whole surface becomes your control surface. Oh, I would recommend it to everybody. It's a quality product, it sounds great, and it's very user-friendly to use.
I would recommend the PreSonus mixers to anyone out there.
The musicians have never had a better experience than when we perform here over at Basin Street using the PreSonus loudspeakers.